I had a conversation with someone over morning tea today who, after your talk this morning, was feeling very convicted about exploring going into ministry. What would you tell someone that's thinking about, like, if someone comes up to you now and goes, oh, I'm kind of at this stage, I'm thinking about going into ministry. What's this look like? What am I thinking? Well, do you have anything any advice you like to impart on anyone thinking about that?
So the line that I find helpful is that all Christians should consider it.
Yeah.
And if you have those three things of affirmation of someone else, opportunity and desire, then you should investigate and consider, hey, what could this look like for me career-wise, vocationally, or whatever.
Welcome back to the Cheap Lunch Podcast. It is awesome to have you along with us, and you may hear the sounds of Week Away in the background.
Yes.
Because we're here on the roundabout. Brayden, how are you?
Lovely. It's great to be here.
Great to be here. Great to be enjoying the dulcet sounds of the bush.
Yes.
That work?
Bush and teenagers having a muck around in there on the instruments, which is very good.
People packing a Polestar.
Yep. ambient lovely
noises. And there'll probably be some scooters around.
Yes.
But the reason that we're here at Week Away is to be at Week Away, but also to hear some amazing talks. And the person that is doing the talks on the podcast with us today is Dave Jensen. Welcome.
Lovely.
Well, that was a very roundabout introduction.
Very nice.
Locked and loaded.
You're welcome.
Thank
you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, we're sitting here on the roundabout of the Youthworks Conference Centre at Waterslea.
Yeah.
In lovely setting as always. And I'm excited to hear your story, Dave, because there's a lot of chat about your story sometimes, I noticed.
It's quite the, how do I say, Anglican royalty, Christian celebrity chat. No, it has been, when I hadn't been a Christian long, but my dad was the Archbishop of Sydney when I became a Christian. And yes, it meant there was an interest some people had in it. And
Yeah.
I remember being at college, and both Joel and I didn't grow up in Christian households, so I'm very much disconnected from, I don't know, I guess you would say that sphere. And I was chatting to a lovely old man in the coffee line for quite a while, and then someone came up and was like, what were you talking to Peter about? I'm like, who's Peter? And I had a great conversation with him, and I can't even remember what we were talking about. It wasn't anything important.
He told me all about it.
Yeah,
he
I know.
said you were terrible.
He's like, he didn't even know my name.
He's like, that guy was a jerk.
Yeah.
Those people from Soul Revival, can't stand them.
No.
I think we should ask you our first question, Dave, because you hinted at it on the Friday night here at Week Away, but I think we need to discuss it further. So how do you like to eat your hot chips?
I'm a OG chicken salt guy.
Amen. Yes.
I want the chips to look yellow.
Okay.
Yes.
That's heavily.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm a French fry cut like. Oh no, not French fry, not too. I don't want the string bean. I cut the string bean. What am I saying? Shoestring. I don't want shoestring. I want a good Aussie, like chip shop chip, but it needs to be yellow.
Yeah, it needs to be fluorescent.
Caked.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't like sauce. I don't hate sauce. Like tomato sauce would be fine, but I'd not by choice put it on. I lived in the UK for a bit as a kid, and that was like obviously vinegar.
Yeah.
And so listen, that can be a nice change, but when you live overseas, I then lived overseas as an adult where they don't have chicken salt, and just like it's terrible. So my family's a chicken salt family. When we have popcorn, we put chicken salt on popcorn.
Ooh.
Wow.
That would be good.
It's dangerous because there is always a debate on the podcast. I'm a plain salt guy. And when Brayden's
I love plain salt as well, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, when Brayden, I don't mind chicken salt on occasion, but Brayden and Ethan are on, they're very much chicken salt. So we somehow have a running tally of how many say chicken salt and how many say...
Is chicken salt the winner?
It was winning for quite a while, but the plain salt has caught up a lot recently.
A lot of boring people out there.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, like, you can't mess with what God originally created, though.
This is an obscenity and absurdity. It's a scurrilous
and a heresy.
This is a vile and disgusting argument. I think I'm a savoury man, not a sweet. I'm not sweet. I'm savoury.
Yeah.
And plain salt is gorgeous. It's just delicious. But oh man, it's like Marvelous Creation. I love Marvelous Creation chocolate.
Yeah.
And that's like the chicken salt of salt for me. Like it's just like, just pop. bang, fizz.
Wow, I appreciate that description.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a part B to this question we sometimes ask? Do you have like a specific memory growing up eating hot chips?
Yeah. So I grew up in Newtown.
Yeah.
And Newtown back in the 80s, it's always been a diverse area. And when I say that, I don't I don't remember what diverse means now necessarily. But I mean, it's always been a bit weird because of its proximity to the city. So it used to be a slum back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And then it became Greek. So all my mates were Greek growing up.
Right.
George Giannakopoulos, Strati Karamitros were my two mates at school, my best mates.
Yeah.
And then Vietnamese. So it was Greek, Vietnamese, and then Aussie. But then you have the university, and this isn't funny, then you have heroin. And so that comes in through Newtown, Redfern area. So that was a huge thing. And then you got like punk music and all this stuff. You got pubs, you got the Annandale up the street, the Sandringham. So it's a fascinating place. And it was a crazy place to grow up. But there's a Greek chicken and chip shop there still. It's called Clems.
Yeah.
Have you been there before? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's opposite where 7-Eleven used to be on King Street. And it's an OG Newtown place. It's been there forever. And that was my introduction to chicken salt.
Yeah.
But no, that was then we do chicken and chips there every Friday night or Saturday night, whatever it was as a family. So we'd all walk, me and Dad or my brothers would go up to Clems and get chicken and chips and have it. And so that was it's funny you asked that, man. I haven't thought about it, but that was a really prominent memory of my life. Saturday nights it was.
Yeah, we have like heaps of people who say like, oh, I remember eating chips with my granddad, or
Totally.
They, I can't remember who it was, but they wouldn't get a tank loaf, like a big tank loaf of bread, eat the bread out, and then put the hot chips inside, and then eat the whole thing with chips inside it as well.
I mean, that's putrid. What a beautiful memory of that vile, disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something worse. There's Weng, who comes to our church. He goes to our ride gathering. He likes eating chips cold. So he will sometimes order chips delivery from McDonald's. So it arrives cold. Also, he will put it in the fridge so he can eat it the next day. I reckon that's worse.
It's funny because the foods that keep, like pizza is delicious, obviously, the second day.
Yeah.
Fridged or not, like it's always good, I reckon, for a couple of days. I would accept a cold burger not refrigerated. Like if we've half eaten a burger, you put a plastic, put some Glad wrap over it, leave it on the stovetop, come back the next day. It's actually quite soft. It's quite nice. Chips, they go stale.
Yeah, they've
go
changed.
yuck.
They've
Even
fundamentally
if you reheat
changed.
them in the microwave, they're not quite right.
Yep.
No.
So that's weird.
Weird. 100% weird. But we love Weng because he's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
You talked about growing up in Newtown there, Dave. Can you tell us more about that? But you also lived in London. So what was the trajectory like? Where were you born, and then where did you end up?
I didn't live in London.
Oh, you didn't live in London? Oh, sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Why did I say that?
I don't know.
He said England.
I lived in Belfast, Northern Ireland,
Okay.
as an adult.
The UK. Sorry.
Okay, yes.
But no, my childhood was entirely in Newtown.
My bad. Okay. So you're born somewhere I'm guessing in that area.
King George V RPA hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was born on the street I grew up on and went to school
Really?
on. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Kind of. Carillon Avenue, Missenden Road, King Street.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So what's it like growing up in Newtown, you reckon? Like what was high school, what was primary school and high school like for you?
It was... So I grew up in Newtown where all those things that I mentioned previously were happening. So I was really into music. And the music I was into hardcore punk music. That was what I was into. And I'd go to shows in rehearsal studios or living rooms in Newtown as a 13, 14-year-old.
Awesome.
And you'd go stand outside pubs and look. You couldn't go in, but sometimes I'd do shows at all ages. And so that was I didn't appreciate how rare that was until I had some friends who were from Borkham Hills, which felt like Dubbo. To get there so far away.
Yeah.
Newtown was so crazy, but it didn't feel like that. But at the same point, I grew up at Moore College.
Yeah.
So a super conservative Christian environment and a bubble in one respect that you're in a mini community inside a bigger community.
Yeah.
And so it was, in hindsight, quite odd. It didn't feel odd, it felt normal.
Yeah.
But it was certainly nothing like the life of my friends at school who were largely Greek or Vietnamese or So there wasn't the inner city hipster woke kind of family yet. But there was definitely a competing kind of worldview at play of Christians and not. It's just really distinctly clear.
Yeah.
And then I went to Trinity for high school.
Yeah.
And that was no one else. Oh, there was one other kid from Newtown.
Yeah.
But besides that was our family went there, and then all the other kids from school went to different Catholic or other schools around. So yeah, and that had its own challenges, but nothing terrible, just sort of ordinary high school type stuff. But yeah, it felt there's a distinct competing allegiance of like, hey, here's the world, here's Jesus, and they're different. They're very different. There was no like nominal like, oh, this is normal. Yeah. Like no one else at school went to church.
Okay.
You know, that kind of stuff. There wasn't. Oh, they go to Greek Orthodox.
Yeah. Easter or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they always said Greek Orthodox school on Saturdays. I don't know what that. Yeah. But anyway, whatever.
Is that because they had Greek school?
It's just Greek school. It's not Greek Orthodox
okay.
School.
So I suppose the reason I kind of preface it with you living in Newtown was just like that's the kind of environment you grew up in. But I know that you kind of came to Christ later. So our second question on the Chip Lunch podcast is always, how did you become a Christian? So I'll ask you that now, but it's kind of interesting how you're going to weave that into becoming a Christian later.
Well, Newtown had nothing to do with it, but I'm glad we got to talk about it. I haven't actually thought about it ever really. Yeah. But my family had a big part. So my dad was a minister, is a minister, my uncle, my brother, my cousin, my brother-in-law, and because I grew up at Moore College, the Bible college, most people we knew were in ministry. My parents' faith is the best thing about them. We had a beautiful, wonderful Christian upbringing, and never for 1 second did I resent it. You know, and I think that's really significant. Like, it felt, yes, we had to go to church, and even if we didn't want to go, we had to go to church. But Mum and Dad did that in a way that meant we resented them, not Jesus. You know, like it was a really.
No, that's interesting.
They're really forgiving, kind, merciful people. And they're the first Christians both in their own families. So, you know, they're Jesus people. They're really about Jesus. And I never would have thought I wasn't. I never called myself a non-Christian. But I think probably mid-teenage years I noticed that there was no fruit of genuine conversion in my life. And that I knew what genuine conversion looked like because everyone else I knew really was Christian. And for me, there's just a slow drift away from fake nominal behaviour. Yeah. As sort of I grew older, primarily around lust and lying, that kind of stuff. As I got older, those things went bigger. When I was in my late teenage years, I got to get pregnant, married, and joined the army, which was weird because I'd never been camping or shooting or anything like this. But I needed a job, so I joined the army, and that marriage had 2 kids, and then divorced at 22, and then I spent the rest of my 20s in Townsville and Darwin and Wagga Wagga, and again, spiritually, never really thought about God, but always called myself a Christian. The 2 or 3 times in your life per year that you would call yourself anything, like I'd have dog tags, and they had the Church of England or whatever. I would have been terrified to say I wasn't a Christian. Okay. I think it would have felt like cutting off my family. Yeah. And also I would have felt like I always believed Christianity was true. Yeah. It was a relevance question, and I never had a distinct thought of it's irrelevant. Yeah. Just the way I lived showed that I didn't think it was relevant. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was living away, I never went to church. I never did anything like that. And that's how life went. All throughout that, though, my parents, and in particular one of my sisters, my twin sister, the others as well, wonderful, but they never had a sit down like, Dave, you're not a Christian, we need to talk to you. Yeah. But the Christian books they gave me were always evangelistic. They were never giving me like knowing God. It was always like a fresh start. Reason for God. That kind of stuff. But during the divorce, everything, they were amazing. Terrific people. My sister gave me her old laptop computer and had sermons loaded on it, and I'd open it up every time to look at things I shouldn't have, and all these sermons would pop up that I couldn't get rid of. Like it was so, I call it abusive evangelism.
Yes.
She just like, yeah, she was very relentless but funny with banter, so it worked quite well.
Yeah.
So
personality gets you a long way.
big time, and I think she could do what my parents couldn't. So
That's the benefit.
that was
of
really
siblings, isn't
helpful.
it?
And I always talk about that with family who have got kids who've walked away, that if it's possible to get a sibling involved with a banterish type of, like, oi, you're an idiot.
Yeah, pull your head in.
Love you. you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
'Cause
I've
for
got that
parents, it
with,
can be-
my brother doesn't go to church as well. And I can definitely say things, even in life, anything to do with anything, you can say things that mum and dad can't.
Totally.
But I've got a twin brother and it's just like,
Really,
what's wrong with you? What are you doing that
Yeah.
for? And it's like, you can say that because you're stuck with me. Like, really, you're stuck
One of
with
you
me.
will be at the other's funeral.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, we were born at the same time. We're stuck with each other.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think I shared the other day that, so my sister would give me like a Christian book and have, here, dear Dave,
Yeah.
you won't read this because you're an idiot, but you should.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. But you'd put it like with a pair of socks or a laptop or whatever, you know, so it's like that. One day I woke up and I opened the laptop. I was hungover. I'd been out the night before. And the sermons popped up and I watched one. And it wasn't a full sermon. It was like these little sermon jam clips, which would have manipulative music playing. Like John Piper was saying, don't waste your life.
Yeah.
And it just, that's my jam. Like I really like that kind of manipulative. No,
We need to make one of you.
I've got a few.
There's a few. There's a few around. All right.
You haven't searched far enough.
No.
But anyway, I just watched a clip of, it was John Piper talking about Jesus, and it gripped me.
Yeah.
So I watched another one and another one, and I spent hours watching these talks, and a couple of things became really clear. One, this felt like brand new information.
Yeah.
And that was bizarre because my family, we read the Bible every night after church, after dinner. We prayed together. We, you know, I mean, I knew I had been taught the gospel properly, yet I was watching these videos and the things that it was affecting most importantly were, oh my goodness, I never really understood the cross of Jesus. And then secondly, it was really about sin. It just, I felt like, I remember feeling scared, going, oh my gosh, oh my good, what have I done? And I called up a mate of mine, a guy called Tim Booker. He's the minister at Liverpool now, but he was an army chaplain. And I did like this dance with him, not literally, on the telephone.
Yeah.
Being like, Tim, how are you? What's up? You know, this kind of stuff. And I think I said the line, I just wanted to talk about faith stuff. I don't think I've been a very good Christian. Now, of course, you hear that line, that's a giveaway. That person's not a Christian because there's no such thing as a good Christian or a bad Christian. We're Christians or not Christians.
Yeah.
And Tim laughed and laughed. And he goes, Dave, your name is a byword for scumbag. And I mean, I haven't shared this, but I was a piece of work. I was a liar. I was heavily violent, promiscuous, a thief. I was an army officer, which is a respectable position, and I used it to manipulate for my own, you know. And Tim and I had been at East Timor together, and he was just like, you are an insidious fraud.
Wow.
Like he was, like it was, you're a fiend.
Yeah.
You know? And I was a violent guy. In fact, you can't hear this, but look at this here. Can you touch my hand? Touch that there, where the knuckle should be.
Oh,
and then go up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's my knuckle there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So the knuckle is about halfway up your hand,
correct.
almost.
Yeah.
Now, if you ever see at a Christian conference a hand up in the air like that, you know it's me. But of course, I'm Anglican, so it won't be me. It could be asking a question. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so all those things, and he just laid it on me, and I was like, "Yep, yep, yep, yep." He called me out on all of it. Yep, yep, yep.
Wow.
And I said, "What do I do?" And he took me to Romans chapter 5. I had a Bible, and he took me to Romans 5. Whilst you were a sinner, Christ died for us. And it shaped my evangelism. It became very clear to me that Jesus died for me because I was a sinner. And it became clear to me in a way that had never been clear before. And I reckon if you'd asked me the day before, what is a Christian? I would have said a Christian is someone who believes in the death and resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ and is a good person. I would have, and I know that, I would have, of all the people.
Yeah.
I was a Hebrew of Hebrews, circumcised, whatever. And but my mind was veiled. I couldn't see it. And so that was the moment he explained that Jesus died for me. And I said, what do I do? He goes, pray.
Yeah.
To put your trust in. I said, I've done that before because I'd been to Kick, I'd done more altar calls than you've had hot chips. And I said, how do I know? He'll know. He'll hear me. And he'll go, pray until you know. It's just, and I fell asleep in my tears praying. And I woke up the next day and I just knew I'd become a Christian.
Yeah.
I'd become a Christian.
Yeah.
And I knew because I started liking Christian music immediately. No, but I just knew, man.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You didn't. What actually happened to the knuckle?
It's punching people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I broke my hand in a pub fight, and this one in particular, I remember it. I broke my hand in a pub fight in Darwin, but the army was cracking down at the time on pub violence.
Pub fights.
Because it was all happening. And so I went out bush like the next day, and my hand swelled up to like a novelty sports fan hand. Like it was huge hand,
Right.
you know? And so that's what happened. And it's fused down there. So
I was going to ask you about. I'll ask you about the army in a second. But you said that you knew you'd changed from there when you had spoken to your mate. What was the most obvious thing to you that had changed?
I love Jesus Christ.
Well,
I love Jesus Christ. Man. And I didn't give a damn before. I just didn't care. I just got it. I love Jesus Christ. He died for me. He loves me. And the scriptures say, he says, he who's been forgiven much loves much. It's one of the great intriguing things about evangelism, that we can intrinsically think, as we mature as Christians, we'll evangelize more.
Yeah.
But it's not true, because who are often the most enthusiastic evangelists in a church? Brand new converts.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not a maturity issue. It is, like everything is, but it's complex,
Yeah.
And so that was it.
Yeah.
it's just like a switch.
Yeah.
Wow.
And for 2 weeks, I was the most Christian man in Darwin. And then 2 weeks later, I'm back on the drink and fighting and chasing women. But even in that, it was very present that this had changed. That a line I use a lot, actually, because I heard someone else use it. I steal it. Which is everything I do is just steal it from other people. But it's like Christianity didn't solve my problems; it multiplied my problems.
Yeah,
it did. Because now I was doing it, and I was just like, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Just highlights it so much.
Big time. The conviction of everything. So, but the behaviour. I'm really thankful that I got grace. Like I just got it, and so that meant, as I kept stuffing up, I was so deep in the thorn bush of sin that my sins, people would say, why didn't you quit smoking? Why didn't you quit swearing? I'm like, I had to quit robbing banks before. Not really, but I was so horrible.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, I don't think smoking is a sin. I do think you should stop swearing. I do think I should stop swearing, and I will one day. No, I'm kidding. But I think there's your behaviour catches up, and as you grow, as you sanctify.
Yeah.
But the heart of repentance and faith, it was just Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep.
How did we've been chatting, you were talking about this morning, especially like being afraid of being confrontational in evangelism, like examining your own conversation that you had when you rang up your friend. He was quite confronting there with the things he was saying to you.
Yep.
If you were if you were thinking about that and you're teaching, you're telling people how to tell people about Jesus, why do you think it was helpful for you that he stuck to his guns with you in that moment? How do you think that? Because I think that would be really hard for a lot of people. That would be a really hard thing to say, to straight up stick you on the pole when you've opened up and become vulnerable. Why do you think that was something you identified as being actually
I never
helpful?
thought of it that way.
Yeah.
It was all about credibility.
Yeah.
I had known this man for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
He had invested in me with warmth and love and, so that was the context, which meant he could speak that way to me and I'd listen.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. We talked to this because I was just chatting to one of the guys here, Lee Nielsen, I went to high school with.
Awesome.
And I didn't know he was a Christian. It's amazing. But we were talking about another friend of ours, Kyle, who I had the privilege of seeing become a Christian. And I had an identical conversation with him.
Yeah.
The first time I ever tried evangelism was with my oldest friend in a pub in Newtown, the Cooper's Arms Hotel, and he told me to get stuffed.
Yeah.
That exact same pub around 5 years later, my other second oldest friend, Kyle, and I sat there.
Yeah.
And I said, "Where are you at with God, mate?" And he goes, well, I try my best to be a Christian. And I was like, "Stop.
Yeah.
You are not a Christian's monkey, mate. You are not a Christian, and you know it. Now stop pretend." And he looked up and tears, and he became a Christian that day. And he's still, and that was 10 years ago. I've done that once.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'd known him since I was 5.
Yeah.
And he's way ruder than I am. You know, so I think it's evangelism should almost always be 90% listening with winsome, thoughtful questions and having your powder dry, your keeping your reserve for I'm going to explain the gospel at this moment. Yeah. So I'm not going to talk all the time because I want them to hear this really importantly. But relationally speaking, I think there are one or two people, maybe in particular in masculine friendships, I don't know, where you can potentially get away with that.
Yeah.
But that's 1 out of a million. It's very... You need the person who's just proven they love you.
Yeah. And known you for so long.
They've known you and they know who you are.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
And they can trust that you're not judging them. And that was the main thing. I knew Tim wasn't judging me. He was describing me.
Yeah.
It was really...
That's a great way.
It's telling the truth basically telling the truth in love to a certain degree, isn't it?
And he wasn't a jerk about it.
Yeah.
He was...
You're just laying it out.
He just laid it out. He did it with mirth. Like, Dave, you're not a good Christian.
Yeah.
What? It's very funny.
So sounds like life in the army, well, for you especially, was pretty rough. Why do you think it was like that? And maybe what were you maybe looking for in terms of you were saying you was drinking, fighting, stuff like that. What, did that life appeal to you to begin with? And then it feels like God almost pushed you through that to go, this is why you need me so much.
Well, I think that's true. I think, yes, it is rough, but if you want it to be.
Okay.
And when I became a Christian and then joined a church later, some of the guys who discipled me were they worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers or whatever. And I realized, that has its own different but really intense, pressurized, and everything does, it's just, but the army is so, the tough roughness about it is not hidden. It's very this is who we are.
Yeah.
And so the violence, the drinking, the womanizing, that's par for the course. You don't have to engage in it. It certainly helps you bond with people, but it's a bit of a football team environment.
Yeah.
Why did that appeal to me? Yeah, I think there's probably deep psychological reasons, or maybe shallow psychological reasons. I'm the youngest of 5. My other siblings were exceptional athletes and academics and whatever.
Right.
And I've always probably felt, I'm waiting for my thing. I want my thing to be, I'm going to be good at something. But deeper than that, my mother says, my mum and dad my mum in particular would always say, David, love the truth. Love the truth. And she said that to me as a child because it was just obvious as a young child I was a liar. Okay. I just lied and lied and lied. And I've got a twin sister who's been a Christian her whole life. One of the nicest people. And so it's just like there's a sinful proclivity. I was violent as a primary school student. I got a lot of fights then. I think I've got a like I don't like cops, that sort of stuff. I just
like authority kind of thing.
Yeah.
Say again.
Like authority.
Yeah, I actually think it's about because it's weird because you think people who don't like authority wouldn't join the army. There's a lot of authority in the army, but it's actually about a misuse of authority.
Yeah.
Those people who've got a keen sense of justice.
Yeah.
It's often a byword for you're a narcissist and you can't see what a hypocrite you are.
Yeah.
I think guilty. But I have a keen sense of injustice. So if I would perceive that I or others, I guess, were being treated unfairly by people in authority, I would find that very difficult. And it's the same, I think, even as a Christian, one of my greatest struggles has been dealing with disrespect. I find disrespect very, very... what I perceive to be disrespectful, is kryptonite bad for Superman?
Yeah.
I'm not Superman, but it's my kryptonite.
Yeah.
So particularly if a young man sort of speaks to me in a way that's just obvious that he doesn't respect me or think much about me or whatever, I just find that really provocative. And it's not. It's 99.9% of the time, it's completely meaningless.
Yeah.
But it just... And I think it's attached to, a great struggle in my heart to find my worth and meaning in Christ, which, without having Christ as a non-Christian, was always kind of there. Yeah. I think that's there.
It's a really honest answer, though, dude.
Yeah.
I think being a Christian, part of the problems that it's multiplied is the necessity for self-reflection. And not putting your head in the sand and going, oh my goodness. And so when John Newton, he writes, 2 things I've learned: I'm a great sinner. Jesus is a greater saviour before he dies. It's not that Newton was a worse sinner at 80 than he was at 18.
Yeah.
And in fact, Newton, after he became a Christian, this is Amazing Grace, John Newton, for anyone listening, he raped a woman as a Christian on a slave ship. Now, the rape is on that slave ship, tragically, was culturally the norm. But he did that as a Christian.
Yeah.
Pilgrim's Progress. Have you read that book?
No.
I know we all got to say we have, but
Yeah.
I've read the children's version. Do you know that he becomes a Christian in that book a quarter of the way through? 3/4 of the book is the struggle of the Christian life.
Yeah.
That was so helpful for me. And even reading Newton, I was like, oh man, Romans 7, what a wretch I... So I just think there's a sense of trying to work out, why am I not trusting God more? And that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I'm glad it was honest, but I'm not good at it. I want to be better at it.
After you'd become a Christian, first time you go to a church after that moment, was that something exciting or was that something nerve-wracking?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is.
It's a bit weird, actually. I was in Darwin.
Yeah.
So I went to the good Anglican church, St. Peter's Nightcliff. I went there once.
Okay.
And it was exciting. And then I found... the lead up was exciting.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed that my news wasn't met with excitement to this group of strangers who had never met me and had never, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a bit weird, and so I didn't go back. And I stayed for 6 months in Darwin, not in a church.
Okay.
But then I moved to Sydney. I took a move backwards in my career in the army to move to Sydney to join a church, and I ended up joining a church by the bridge in Kirribilli, and that was both exciting and rewarding.
Yeah,
because it felt like home immediately. It felt like a group of battlers like me, but who love Jesus, and can I say, since then, and I don't say this to brag, this is the opposite of brag, and I hope this is clear, I have not missed a single Sunday of church in 16 years. I love church.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm preaching. No, I'm kidding. I love church, man. I love church. We go to church on holidays. My wife's from a non-Christian family. We love meeting Christians, and so it's not always a great experience. Church can be up and down, you know, but
Can I ask you one more question about the army, just before we move on?
Sure.
What did you like about being in the army?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
No. I'm not a good soldier.
Okay.
I endure pain well, so I could walk a long way.
Yeah.
That was the best thing. I could walk.
Yeah.
I was an army officer, which when I was a commander, and that was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I wasn't up for it.
Yeah.
And so the way I deal with that, it would be just getting drunk with the boys to win their popularity, their favour.
Yeah.
I was bashing the ones they didn't like, and you know, and being a tough guy and that kind of thing to shadow over my deficiencies as a commander.
Yeah.
I enjoyed some friendships, but not more than I had at school or anything. It was a very intense, all-consuming, identity-forming work environment. If you consider, I was in an all-men, the infantry, which now has women in it, but when I was in it was just men, and 99% of the people are stripped away from their family home, and you're stripped away. You're not living in where you grew up. You're living in Townsville or Darwin, so your community is the army. Your identity is the army. You don't knock off. You never knock off. Yeah. So even though you knock off at 5 o'clock or whatever, you all go to the same pub. You're in the same footy team. So it's just 24/7.
Yeah.
And that was really unhelpful.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So when young men or women now come to me to speak about joining the army as a Christian, I say go for it. If you're going as a missionary. So how sold out are you for Jesus? But if you go in and your faith, if you've got as young 18, 19-year-old Christians can be, like they're still, owning it for themselves. Mm-hmm. If you're 80%, don't do it. Yeah. Because it's such a strong culture. Yeah. It's such a dominant culture. Yeah. It swallows up unprepared Christians.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And did I hear you were deployed to East Timor?
Yeah.
What was
World
that
War
like?
Timor, I can't talk about it. I did a lot of weights, jammed a lot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Watch
TV, DVDs.
It's more just peacekeeping kind of thing. Is that like you didn't do that much of?
Yeah, we patrol every day and we're involved in riots and.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it wasn't. It was cool. It was interesting, but yeah, it was a lot of sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
Punctuated with moments of exhilarating danger and excitement, but. A lot of weights and DVDs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So you said you moved to Sydney after that. Were you still in the army and moved to go to the church in Kirribilli?
Yeah, so I moved after becoming a Christian. I was 28. I then finished the year off 2009. I moved back to Sydney and moved in like the dream of every 29-year-old man with my parents.
Nice.
Although my parents lived in the Archbishop's castle. $20 million car. It was amazing. I imagine the house got broken into while we were there. I imagine the poor people who broke in. There's $20 million castle, and there's my parents' black and white TV. 2010. What is this? So anyway, did that. Moved to Sydney for the purpose of joining a church. I stayed in the army for 2-3 more years, maybe 2 more years, before I went into Christian ministry. Yeah. But it was in that process of evangelism and evangelizing and complexity and difficulty and rejection in that actually put evangelistic hair on my chest, and I suffered. And then I realized, hey, if that's the worst it gets, I can deal with that, and that it fueled me. It didn't extinguish my desire to evangelize. It was a big part of me realizing, hey, I can. I want to tell everyone I know about Jesus. I played footy as well, so a few of my friends at footy became Christians. A few of my mates in the army became Christians in that couple of years, and then that was sort of the bridge. I do think what was helpful, I was 30, was that I understood Christian ministry because of my family. Yeah. I think if I hadn't, by the way, no one was tapping me on the shoulder going, hey, you should think about this. Yeah. Oh, sorry, the senior pastor did, but not heaps, just like, here or there. And I think there is a gap there for people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, that we do need to encourage people of all ages to think about it. Yeah. So I knew with confidence there was a pathway here I could serve God in.
Yeah. I had a conversation with someone over morning tea today who, after your talk this morning, was feeling very convicted about exploring going into ministry. What would you tell someone that's thinking about, like, if someone comes up to you now and goes, oh, I'm kind of at this stage, I'm thinking about going into ministry. What's this look like? What am I thinking? Well, do you have any advice you like to impart on anyone thinking about that?
So the line that I found helpful is that all Christians should consider it. Yeah. And if you have those three things of affirmation of someone else, opportunity and desire, then you should investigate and consider, hey, what could this look like for me career-wise, vocationally or whatever. There's a guy at Menai Anglican when I was there called Tim, and Tim was one of the highest, not ranking, what's the word I'm looking for? Top employees of the in the entertainment industry. He ran the ICC arena and stuff. Like, he's a big deal. Like, they've got awards named after him and stuff. He became a Christian in his 50s, late 50s. You know this? Sorry, I'm talking behind the fourth wall. Tim Wharton was his name. And became a Christian in his 50s, and 2 years later went to Moore College and did a year at Moore. So he's leaving that career, was on the front page of magazines, in the Herald, all this stuff, and he works for Year 13 as the grandfather. He's in Fiji at the moment with the guys, and he runs the men's Bible study, and he's semi-retired. Yeah, but I love that. I think, man. But so I think you've got that to consider. I think the main thing, though, is I want to just stress to people that it's not Jesus and it's not a marriage. So if you don't like it, you can quit. Yeah, it's okay. And if you don't and if you're not good at it, you can be sacked. It's okay. Yeah. It's not Jesus. Yeah, it's not a marriage. Yeah. So I reckon people should try it, but there's a bungee cord around it. Yeah, it doesn't have to be this like, I am a pastor, I'm never now do it. Like, just, no, give it a crack.
It can also be a season.
Totally right. Totally right. And it may be, I think everyone who's in full-time ministry, man, I keep fantasizing about being a truck driver, just like on the road, just chilling. Yeah. But I reckon if I was a truck driver, I'd be like, man, I want to chill and be a minister. So I don't know. But I think those three things, and then just to know you can try it without it consuming everything about your life, financially and the rest of it. You can actually, we're so blessed we can give it a go.
Absolutely.
So where was the first step for you in that kind of journey of ministry?
I just served a lot at church. I loved church. Okay. And so it was in the youth team, and got involved in beach mission, one called Summerfest up at EV Church, where I ended up working. And then a woman I was very, very, very interested in, I'm thankfully now married to, I was doing MTS. She's fluent in Italian, so she wanted to go be a missionary to Italy. And I was like, ciao, no. But she's gospel captured. And so it just felt, as we dated and got engaged, hey, I should look into this. I was reaching the point of the end of my army time. I just felt that was really natural. And then there was a bit of a Gideon's fleece moment, if you're familiar with that pseudo-heretical approach to using the Old Testament to make decisions. I applied to join the police, and I applied for a youth ministry job at a school.
Yeah.
And the police got back to me and said, "You've been arrested too many times." And the school got back to me and said, "You're in.
You've been arrested enough.
The right amount of times.
Yeah, that's right. You've been arrested for the right things. It's
Yes,
fine.
yes.
Just bashing people. You're fine.
Yes.
Don't worry."
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I ended up working as a youth minister at the King's School for 4 years.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
a crazy property, that place, isn't it?
Insane.
It's insane how big it is.
Insane how big.
It's got its own farm.
It does. It's got 17 ovals. It's massive. We lived on the property there. We
Yeah,
lived on
right.
site.
Yeah.
Okay.
But super helpful in the sense that you very quickly realise it doesn't matter how rich these kids are. It's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
They're like teenagers everywhere.
Mm.
Yeah.
Rich, poor, white, black, doesn't matter. You know, they need Jesus, and
Yeah.
they don't have him. So but those schools have Christian headmasters, so free permission to evangelize. You get as hard as you can, and that was really helpful.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Both Joel and I were converted through youth ministry at Soul Revival. Ethan's been a massive part of the youth ministry at Soul Revival. What do you think God taught you through working with young people at that time? What did God teach you through youth ministry?
That I don't want to do youth ministry. That my full love and respect to people who do youth ministry.
Yeah.
I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
I had teenage children.
Yeah.
I'd been in the army with men, grown men.
Yeah.
And respect in the army is a big. So this is a
Yeah,
disrespect
okay,
thing.
yeah, we're
You
getting
with me?
back to we're coming full circle on
So
that.
in the army, you cannot disrespect people of a that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like if you disrespect a higher rank, you can go to military prison. It's called insubordination.
Yeah.
You have to call people sir. Like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I go to the school and it's Kings. They dress like Ugandan dictators or movie ushers. They're usually crazy, you know? And but the kids are rat bags, man. They're just like kids. They're teenagers.
they're
So I'm in the first class and they're talking over the top of me, and I'm like, "Oi,
Yeah.
shut up!" And then the chaplain's like, "Hey, listen,
Probably going to do
maybe
that.
don't scream at the kids and threaten them." I just, but it was really challenging. Because teenagers aren't. There's a great book, Growing Yourself Up, by Jenny Brown. It's a seminal book, a wonderful book, and it talks about maturity as the growing awareness of other people, the amendment of your behaviour in the light of that awareness. And teenagers don't have it. You know, they do what they want whenever they want. I wasn't a cool teenager. I find cool teenagers still intimidating. I'm like, "Hey, that's Steve Buscemi gift. Hey, kids."
Yeah.
You know, so I find it really challenging. I still find it challenging. But I found it exhilarating. You know, like they're so open, and you can just they're willing to talk. And also at King's, there's a 1,000-seat auditorium. They have school chapel all in together,
Oh.
and 2% Christian.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get them to listen, you gotta talk good. You've got to speak passionately. You've got to engage them. And I saw we had guest preachers in who did that really well, some who didn't, and I knew with myself, I was like, "Oh, okay." And that's where preaching, I'd never done public speaking or anything, but preaching, I realised I believe in the power of preaching to grip and grab people, because it does for me. And so that was such a wonderful training ground for me to go, right, 1,000 kids. Oh, wait, they don't laugh at any of my jokes, ever. The only time they ever laugh is when I tripped over the stairs. Can I do that again? Why wouldn't I do that again? That kind of stuff. So, and it did help me go, I want to do evangelism to adults. You know, not like, as in, I think people are gifted in different things. For me, I've always had a passion for working men.
Yeah.
And I think when I say working men, I mean army guys and tradies and footy guys. And when I say passion for that, I just mean they're my mates. And And I've just felt a proclivity. I felt a great, like, this is easy for me. And then I realised, it's not that easy for other people. But youth ministries like that, I can see it's not easy for me. I find it really.
But it's like we were talking about with thinking about going into ministry. You had a season where you found something that, well, I know I'm maybe not as gifted in this area, but God still taught you through the public speaking and the things that you picked up, that you then take into the ministry that you realise that you're actually passionate about.
100%, no wasted time at all.
No wasted time at all.
And the school had a church, and the church was dreadful, terrible. They should never have done it. They should have just put a bus on, because there's a boarding community. There's like 10 churches in that area. It's the hills, you know.
Oh yeah,
dreadful church. But I ran it. It was dreadful.
Yeah,
and I shouldn't be running a church, you know. But that gave me a taste of church ministry, like doing that, and that was the moment of realizing, I love this. I love church, man. I really froth on church. I really, and it doesn't mean I don't love other parts of ministry, but I found a great, desire, and I think over time a gift. I don't know if gifting is the right word, but opportunities within church ministry that actually the youth stuff helped prepare me for wonderfully, but also helped me go, that's not me.
Yeah.
But actually for others, if it is you, don't waste it.
Yeah.
Don't think, I can't wait to graduate to adult ministry. What's wrong with you?
100%. I think we'd all agree with that, even though, the way that Ethan works so hard in youth ministry and Brayden, and the people that have worked so hard on me through youth ministry as well. It's not a staging post.
It's not the next generation.
Yeah.
They are literally the generation.
Yep.
Just as the adults are the generation.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can't have that, I'm not against using the word next gen, like whatever. It's more just like going, like they are human, they're image bearers.
Yeah.
God saves babies. He can save, and so it's just so important. And we have them in schools, with youth, with whatever, in this, and missionally in this huge effective way. So, it's not the ministry you do until you can put your big boy pants on or big girl pants on and get into church. No.
Yeah.
It's the front line.
Yeah.
It's the front
what do you
line.
say? The children of the church of today just as much as the church of tomorrow? No, that's not right.
Not the church of tomorrow.
Not just the church of tomorrow, they're the church of today. Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah, spot on.
That's what we like to say. What was I going to ask you? I'm fascinated about how you talked about like working at King's developed your, made you start working on your preaching style. One of the things that I've really noticed in your talks is, and something I'm highly impressed with, is the way that you can talk without looking at notes for such a long time. And there's a lot of people, like Stu, for example, is very capable of doing that too. Where do you, I always like to find out what people's process are of how they do it. How do you prepare for like a talk series like this and to be able to do something like that?
Thanks, brother. It takes, I have a terrible memory.
Okay.
I can't remember the words to Amazing Grace. Like my kids are like, Dad got those tattoos because he can't remember the Bible verses he likes. Like, I can't remember words. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And I call everyone brother because I forget names and I just, brothers, And
sure thing, mate.
Oh, man. So
Thanks, mate.
there's a part of this which has felt weird that I was able to speak, and I'm an introvert, but that doesn't stop people speaking publicly. But to go, just when I remember doing my first ever youth talk at church by the bridge, and the youth group was 7 kids, and I was hardly anyone there, and I was just on a roster, one of the 4 of us, and I was week 3. I was in the army. There was nothing. It wasn't like, here's my moment. But it felt like I don't want to say my thing. It's not that. It just felt like, yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love talking about Jesus. I love talking about Jesus. This was, and I remember my wife, she was there. It was just my girlfriend at the time. And I think we went to the pub afterwards, whatever. And it was just like, it feels really, I'm swimming with the tide doing this. So, and I'm from a family of preachers and speakers, and that's all played a part. So the memory thing is a combination of part of it is, I think, a overflow of passion, and so I think about it a lot. So I never waste a car trip. I'm continually going over talks in cars.
All right.
I noticed this when I was in the UK and I didn't have a car, and my preaching sucked, And I was like, man, I can't. And I realised I'm not rehearsing, but normally in the car I'm just going over things, and I actually like driving to do that. So that plays a part. If I try to deliberately memorize things, it doesn't really work that well. But I think the other part is I edit my talks verbally. Yeah. So I'll do the first draft and then I'll speak through it with the script open, and I'll make changes, but that also ingrains it in.
Yeah.
And the other part is I work hard on it, and I think I know how powerful good preaching can be to people. I believe in the power of engaging people. In Acts chapter 14, verse 1, Paul spoke so effectively that the people in Derby were saved, so effectively. And it means God gives us license and freedom to pour ourselves out to be as effective engagingly as we can. My attention span is so terrible. So I'm trying to preach to me at 19 to go, hey, I want to grab your attention and do that. And so I think, and I know that if I speak without notes, the tricky thing is, obviously theologically, this pastor don't want to do that. I want to make sure it's really accurate. But if it's not the exposition part of the sermon, well, I can vibe it. I'm generally going to be saying what I believe, so that's okay. I watched Jordan Peterson speak.
I've done the same thing. He just picks one thing and then goes, right? Yeah,
so it's the power of expertise. Yeah. Like if I'm speaking about something I don't know about, I'm terrible. But I watched Peterson and I go, why is he so engaging? And it's because he believes it, and it appears to be coming to him as he's speaking. And I just noticed that and thought, that's why that works. And the stumbling and the bum, that doesn't make it a negative. That actually adds to it. It's like Churchill, we will fight. It wasn't oratory that you'd get at a debating society, but it had his unique voice to it. When I think of the best preachers I've heard, I worked for a guy called Andrew Hurd on the Central Coast, and he's a wonderful preacher. And he looks like a homeless person. He's missing a finger from spearfishing. He's just but he loves the word, so he's very, very good. My Uncle Philip's a very good preacher, and I watched him in Q&A sessions with people at university campuses. And someone say, Philip, no, in Ezekiel 16, I was reading the other day, blah, 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 and for verse 3, blah, blah, and Philip would be like, yes, but in verse 5, and I was like, The other part I'll say is Q&A, doing as much Q&A in evangelism and evangelistic courses. Doing Q&A puts hair in your chest with it, and it means you've got to be prepped and you've got to feel, and that helps, I think, the brain get used to thinking on the fly.
I really appreciate you talking about working, and of course it makes a lot of sense. You work really hard at something, you care about it, you want to get better. But I find that preaching, I'm a musician, I play a lot of music, and people do the same thing where people kind of say, well, you've either got it or you don't. Obviously, David's come up and the first time he gave a youth talk, he sounded exactly like you did this morning because you just have that thing. And it's like, no, everything that we do for God, there is gifts and there are people that will get things a lot quicker, but we can build up those things and work really hard.
Big time.
And love God through doing that.
Oi.
Yeah.
I got this, man. So Regalia was my first boss in church at MBM. Great guy, Regalia. And I was preaching, and the preacher I loved the most, not so much anymore, but I loved was Paul Washer. Do you know Paul Washer? This American you guys, you're not right wing enough. Okay. There's some problem with your algorithm. But no, he's like this shocking youth message. I don't know why you're clapping. I'm talking about you. Like he's a really like a Baptist. He looks like a nerd, but he preaches like he's very passionate.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Driscoll was big and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was preaching MBM and I would just yell. But I wasn't mimicking anyone. I was in the army. It's how I talk.
Yeah.
And Galea took me out for lunch after like a month or two. And he goes, Dave, I want to talk about your preaching. Who are you copying?
Yeah.
And I said, no one.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually how I speak.
Yeah.
And he goes, huh. And he just thought about it and goes, well, normally I tell young preachers to stop copying people and be yourself.
Yeah.
More. But here's what I want to say to you. You need to be less of yourself.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Because you're yelling and the Samoans love it.
Yeah.
The Arab men, they love it.
Yeah.
The Indian woman doesn't love it.
Yeah. Right.
The person who can't speak English can't understand it. And the battered wife is intimidated by it.
Yeah.
What are you... And the implicit part was this. What am I not willing to sacrifice so other people can love God more?
Yeah.
Am I willing to sacrifice every part of the way I speak so other people can understand and love God more? Yes.
Yeah.
And that means my speaking style or whatever is a tool. And it's a bit like musical style.
Yeah.
I love metal and hardcore and whatever.
Yeah.
I love praise and worship. I love Christian music, man.
Yeah.
But just because I love death metal, I'd never try and play.
I grew up playing in post-hardcore and hardcore bands.
Right.
That's not what we're doing.
No,
that's not what we did this morning.
And that's a conviction piece.
Exactly.
Where you're going, I'm willing by conviction to press into things that are not my first love.
Yeah.
So that others can keep the first love that we need, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think I think all that stuff is really important. And I think it's hard because it feels critical, particularly with anything creative.
Yeah.
So the feedback I will often get is, besides about length, is is about the pace of my speaking.
Yeah.
Like I speak too quickly, so old people can't hear it, and I hate that. Like I really don't want to do that. So I want to watch it. The other thing is that I first began to see myself preach on video and I saw, I'm quite fidgety. And the worst part was I would play with my fly a lot.
So that's why you wear track pants?
Just trackies. Or I do this. Okay. And so I began to go, that's distracting.
Yeah.
I've got to, and I want to, as long as I'm not being driven by this idea that this is about me being the best preacher in the world. No. And I can honestly say it's not. It's actually, I want to be the clearest version of me in this thing. And so
it's working on your craft, really, isn't it? Yeah. Because the thing that I also appreciated, I think I've heard you speak once before Week Away, was there's an authenticity to it, which I think is what Ray was talking to you about. But also, I actually get real stand-up comedian vibes to a degree, and because I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah,
and the way that I think you can be funny, which I really appreciate. But there's a lot of substance behind it. Because I remember once at a work thing, I've talked to Brayden about this the other day. We had someone come and present. It was like a college, and they were presenting. I was in sports admin at the time, and he was really funny, and everyone's laughing. Blah blah blah. He had zero substance behind it. I didn't know what was going on behind it, and everyone's like, "Oh, he was great, wasn't he?" I'm like, he didn't talk about anything useful. Like I love something being funny as much as anyone, but there's got to be some substance and thought behind it. But then, like listening to you, I'm like that's the opposite. You have a lot of substance behind it, and you're clearly being careful about the words that you're speaking.
The worst backhanded compliment for a preacher is you're a great communicator. And that was another moment. One of my first sermons, my dad was there, and someone came up to me in his presence and said, "Oh, Dave, you're so passionate. It was great. You're so passionate." And the person walked away, and my dad leaned over and goes, Hitler was passionate.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's what you say that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
If you're right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I completely agree, and I think I learned that the hard way. I think in youth ministry, where when I wouldn't get laughs or I wouldn't get whatever, I'd feel like this has sucked,
Yeah.
and then I'd meet someone 2 years later who's converted at it or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, and that. It could be. So isn't it fascinating about what makes oratory work or speaking work? So humour. Yeah, I love stand-up comedy and I love British stand-up comedy and I love stand-up comedy. But some of the best preachers are not funny.
Yeah.
They have they stumble but they have a gravitas. Like a Don Carson, he can speak and he's utterly engaging. He's got the humour of this blade of grass. It's not funny at all. But it's because of the weight of his wisdom and intelligence. Now, very few of us will do that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think we've got, hey, there's little ways to talk to people back and forth that can go, hey, if I'm not naturally funny, well, if I speak slower, then that can build gravitas and then I'm going to memorize more, and that's really engaging. And then I've got to speak by looking at people's eyes and then looking at people's eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at that yet. I want to do that better. And hand movements and I think that's all. It's a medium. It's a medium.
Yeah.
If we talk about Bible translation, this is not Bible translation.
Yeah.
But it's how big the font is. You know, can you hear? Can you understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Ethan has been inspired by you. With, you clap to keep people's attention,
the
right?
best.
Yeah. But Ethan did one in his sermon. Ethan's behind the camera if you're listening or watching, and he took two things he learned from someone else to bring. If he's reading from a book, like a quote or something from it, he'd take the actual book up there.
Oh, yeah.
But he took the clapping idea and he threw it down on the floor to make sure that people were awake. It was really, and he did it 3 times. But like only people at the front knew what was happening. People at the back were like, "What's going on? What's that banging noise?"
Yeah.
But it's cool.
It's so funny. I love it. But what's very funny is the negative feedback I will often get.
Yeah.
For people going, oh. And this is one of those moments actually of discerning wisdom.
Yeah.
And making sure you're not so in your own belly button that you think everything you do is great, but actually working things out and just going, like often, not often, but there'll be somebody who says, the clap thing's it's a bit intense. And I'm like, I'm not doing it for you, champ. I'm like, I know it works and I know like with like men what is funny. Like you can just, like there's a joke. The joke that I always get a laugh is, every time you don't laugh, I'll add 5 minutes to the sermon. Yeah. That is a gimme. I stole that from Chapo or someone. No, it wasn't him, someone else. Or if you ever say tough crowd, even though that's not funny, that will always get a laugh because it makes people laugh at themselves a bit like,
they loosen up a bit.
Yeah, they loosen up. And but the clap, the throwing things, I think we're agitating, we're disrupting, we're just trying to go, hey. And so long as you said, we're providing we've got to make sure that what we're offering is the word, is actually content that changes lives.
Because I've only preached 3 sermons, right? Brayden and Ethan have done a lot more. I've been lucky enough, blessed enough not to get like a real hard piece of feedback. Can you give us like the best one you've ever got? Can it be published on the internet? Or water it down for what you need to do.
Oh no! It's just like it was a bit of a issue.
Okay,
that's fine. I told a joke. Okay, so I'm talking about. It was in the intro. It wasn't funny. So the joke is funny. What happened wasn't that funny. I began by saying, what did you want to do when you grew up, when you were a kid? Who did you want to be? And I got them in the chat and I said, I didn't really have like a thing in mind. I always liked the baddies. And I had a picture of me as a pirate as a kid. I said, it was me as a pirate. I just loved going for the baddies. So every time I'd watch a movie, you know, I'm like, go for the pirates, go for the robbers, Saving Private Ryan, go for the...
No.
Like, that was it. I didn't say I didn't say Nazi. I just made a subtle Nazi joke. And anyway, that afternoon, we had some people over for lunch, and I got a phone call from this guy who had just visited the Holocaust Museum. And by the way, let me just say, none of this was not funny. None of it is funny. But he was so offended. Wow. And I found that quite funny. Because I was like, what do you mean? It was a joke about Saving Private. I'm not obviously... Anyway, he was quite offended by that. And then it spiraled. And it went... My response was not... Anyway, it was one of those moments where the godly thing, I think, would not have been to agree carte blanche, but to be like, brother, I love you. I take it on board.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. I was like, brother, I love you. You're completely wrong. This was hilarious. Let me, and then it went on and on. Yeah. It was not good. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had some terrible feedback. Yeah. South Africans give brutal feedback.
Oh, that's 100% true.
I preached in New Zealand once, and I was crook as, and this South African came up afterwards, this young fella, is at Uni Church, Auckland EV, and he's like, when you said this or that, blah, 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 and I was like, oi, stop, Yanni, JP, stop. Do you speak like this to your pastor? Do you come up to him? Do I come to you and tell you suck at your job? Like, do you go to him every week and do this? And then we finished up, and then I was like, I should not have said that. Mm. But Rowan, the pastor, came over and was like, thank you so much. He was terrible. So I don't recommend any of that. No. Normally there is just go, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But I think it's helpful just to point out the humanity in it.
Totally.
We're all followers of Jesus trying to do our best. And sometimes you'd think back and you're like, well, I wish I hadn't have done that, but I guess I probably won't do it again.
Totally.
But I learned in that moment, and I'm just as saved as I was before I did it. So.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's helpful for people listening to know.
Yeah.
It takes around 20 to 30 hours to write a sermon. Yeah. It's really hard. It takes a lot of work.
It is.
And it's so give it 24 hours.
Yeah. That's helpful.
Yeah. And speak to your spouse, and they can never give negative feedback. She needs to get an emoji with flame or a GIF of something and just send that every time. That's what I do.
That's cool.
Yeah. If she doesn't send it, I'm like, what was wrong with this? What was wrong with this? Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Sam there, and I've had a bit of contact with Sam before, and you've talked about your family. So the first thing I want to ask you though is you said that some of your kids point out that you've got the words tattooed on your body of Amazing Grace and what. Yeah, I've noticed you do have quite a few tattoos.
Yes.
Can you run us through them quickly? Because Brayden's got a few too. You guys could compare notes. You probably don't have as many as Dave though.
No. It's not really what we do with tattoos. Compare notes.
Oh no.
I have terrible tattoos. And I'm proud of them. It's a bit like people who come from Dapto. They're proud of being from a hole. It's like, it's normal. And so I got tattooed as a teenager because I was in Newtown punk hardcore bands and I knew guys with tattoo guns and that sort of stuff. So I have the Southern Cross. That was an army one. That wasn't Newtown. But I have the Newtown postcode there, which was ironic to mock the Bra Boys, but now I've had to pretend that it's real. Yeah. I have a cat with a knife through its head on my left arm. Which is the worst tattoo I have. I picked it off a wall in Townsville. Said, that one. And it's terrible. I have praying hands that look like washing up gloves. They've got no knuckles. That's a line of Judah. That's a cover up of another one.
Okay.
And then I got like randomly religious-y kind of ones as a non-Christian. So that was from an album cover. And that's St. Michael, apparently. Yeah. And then, there's a dragon.
Got to have a dragon.
Yeah. And then I've got my chest and back. And but when I became a Christian, I got a couple of things. But I was over 30, and I was a bit like, no disrespect to people who get tattoos over 30. It's fine. But yeah, I was kind of like, I don't want to. I'm not going to get heaps and heaps more. But yeah, so I got In Christ Alone and John 3:3 there, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, cool. I just thought it was funny because I remember when, so I met up with Sam, your wife, she invited me to come and speak at her conference. She's the boss of Virtual Church Assist, and I did my thing because it's Dave Jensen's wife, and did some research, and I found that there's a Herald article on you on the Sydney Morning Herald, and they call her a Catholic barmaid.
It's the best.
So I brought that up to her, and she did so well. She just laughed at it. I thought it was really funny.
She's got that tattooed on her neck.
Yeah, but Sam's awesome. I loved hanging out and working with her. But tell us about your relationship with her and meeting her and getting to know one another, getting married, like you said, and then tell us about your family as well, because that'd be really cool to hear about that.
Well, I was at church by the bridge and divorced, father of two, still in the army, but Sam's 7 years younger than me, from a non-Christian family, had got probably converted in high school through friends invited her to youth group, but then walked away after school, but ended up working at the Kirribilli Bay Hotel, which is right next to Church by the Bridge. Finished a shift and was living an ungodly lifestyle. Finished a shift, walked into Saturday night church, and Hayley Neal, who's Toby Neal from Vine Church's sister, now Hayley Gibbons, was the kind of evangelism and women's pastor there, and either converted her or, was primarily used by God to bring her back. So that was when Sam was around 21, 22. In God's grace, Sam's from a very, very broken family, which meant, which can have one of two effects generally. It can make people really broken, or it can, in family-wise, or it can make people resist any sort of, want the opposite.
Yeah.
Sam has been a wonderful stepmother to my children. As a young 22-year-old, and I had teenagers, it was.
That's an interesting dynamic.
She's closer in age, maybe. Anyway, I don't want to think about it. But there was. I later found that some Christians were weird about marrying people who'd been married before, and which is absolutely fine. It's fine. But she wasn't, and I never really, I don't really get, I wasn't a Christian, so anyway.
Yeah.
But, sorry, I understand people not wanting to marry other people who've been divorced with kids on just a secular level, I get that. But there can be a vibe that, people have been sexually active before, or and I'm just like, guys, just grace, if they're forgiven people, just, and Sam has just always been, wonderfully, wise and experienced with having step parents and being a step parent and all those things. So we started dating. It was just as a non-Christian, never wanted to get married and didn't want kids because I already had some. Yeah. Became a Christian and wasn't like, I've got to get married. But met Sam, was like, I really want to get married. And so we got engaged within, I think, 6 months, and then married within a year. And she's Italian, got an Italian family, speaks Italian, and is the greatest person I know. She's the best, and I love her very much. And when I've had suffering in my life, as a Christian, the thing she does intrinsically, it sweats out of her, is she preaches the gospel to me in the midst of that. And that's been amazing. We've got 4 boys, Sonny, Joe, Jesse and Frank, and aged from year 7 down to kindy, and a sausage dog called Slinky. And we live on the Central Coast. God's been very kind to me with my family. They're just a wonderful, but we're both captured with the reality that the only thing that matters, that we really, really want for our kids, is for them to know Jesus. And so for that meant for us joining a church where we really trusted that they would have peers and friends. I look back to my life, I didn't have any Christian friends. So for me, that's always been a really big value. I want my kids to have some peers or even mentor type guys who are Christians. I just didn't have that. And a church that we love going to. I say that, I don't know if this is helpful. Life's too short to go to church you don't like. You know, other people might like that. Cool. But I want to go to a church where I'm like, yeah. And I want my kids to feel that. And so that's what we do. And that's,
Can people that are parents come on the podcast, and you're a parent of 6 children, what has God taught you through being a parent? That's what we like to ask.
Sure. It's a strange answer in Australia because it sounds weird. It's selflessness that, in essence, your life is not your own. I've been a parent since I was 20.
Right.
I'm 45. It's just like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's just this intrinsic, natural, oh my goodness, of course, I will die for that thing. That little one. I will do it. And so that's been a helpful trait for me, hopefully as a pastor and hopefully as a friend, but also as a Christian, just a sort of, in a small way, shadow of the way God is with us. Tiredness, patience, all the things. Before this week, we'd just driven up and back to Lightning Ridge in the car together for hours and hours. And it's,
It definitely highlights how selfish you are.
Yes. And also the truth of Calvinism. See, the problem with Calvinism is it's got this contradiction.
Where are we going here?
How can we have personal responsibility and God's sovereignty? But I've got no problem with contradictions existing at the same time, because how can you both love and hate a person at the same time? Have kids. You know exactly what it's like.
I've only been a dad for 5 months, and
that's enough.
It's like, how can I love something so much
and
but also want to throw them out the window?
I literally was about to say throw them out the window.
I love it. But also, like you were saying, it's such a weird feeling to sit there with a baby in my arm, my little daughter, and I'm just like, I want you to know Jesus so bad. And I think about that every night, and it gets me emotional, because I'm like,
mate,
I don't.
big time.
What do I do? I'll try my best, but I just want you to love Jesus. How do I make sure you love Jesus? Well, I'll try my best, but hopefully we'll see how we go. The
other thing is, it's God will make it happen.
Exactly. Luckily, it's not up to me.
Ask others and watch and listen. And I was so fortunate with my parents, and I didn't appreciate it, obviously. But my entire discipleship of my children, everything, it's just what my parents did. But better, because I wasn't a... No, I'm kidding. But I would say probably better. I was the youngest, so they were a bit tired by the time they got in. They probably thought, we're fine. But a big part of us is we've always been really intentional about shaping a culture of that church is... we love it. We never, ever whinge about church. We also don't speak negatively about church people in front of the kids. When they're not there all the time. No. But we don't whinge about the ministers and the pastors. We pray for the pastors in the car on the way to church. We want them to froth on that. We want them to have a great time. We want them to, and we want them to do that because it's really hard being a Christian, and we want them to feel like, hey, you're not losing out something here. This is epic.
How do you make them feel like church is where the action is?
Make it where the action is. Spot on. And you got that here, like you can smell it. Like it's actually, you want to come. People vote with their feet. It's not a heritage thing. It's a choice thing. But you got to not rely on it. You got to just continually recreate it all the time.
This is our biggest week away we've ever had. It's 270 people. It was just unreal.
But this is the thing. The minute you guys rest on it, not die, but the challenge is that when it becomes, are there grandchildren here yet? Is it not yet?
Yeah, there's a few, like Caleb, but Elva, for example. And you're a grandchild, Ethan.
No.
I don't count. No. It's like
your children.
My kids have kids.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's the challenge I've seen in churches,
Caleb, I guess, counts, but that's not.
Yeah, okay.
and not as culturally strong. So you know that there's that expression: the first generation start, second generation assume, third generation forget.
Yeah.
And it's more like when you have churches where the third generation, you watch the grandparents who were in the plant when it started, and they're like, wow, they've shaped everything. The second generation were the beneficiaries of that, and they're like, oh, wow, we were there when you started, yeah. The third, but by the time that second generation who didn't actually shape it, they just benefited from it, if they don't have the opportunity to replace the previous generation before the previous generation want to be replaced,
Yeah.
they need to be given the opportunity to shape it and own it themselves, because otherwise it'll just be inherited. And they can still be strong, but it needs the continual creative wheel. You always need to aim it at the younger generation who aren't here yet, because otherwise the church ages with the senior pastor, and then soul revival becomes soul revival, down the track, and it can't. It's too important. And that's not an age thing. It's just about the energy. That there needs to be this, we're aiming it at the young families or whoever it is who aren't here yet. That's what we're doing. Or whatever demographic, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because it's so special. It's, man, I do this all the time, but this is really special. It's a really beautiful community church.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about loving church. Is I feel empty if I don't go, if I miss church for whatever reason for 1 week. It's just it's like the centerpiece of my week. I'm usually there on a Saturday night, and it's I don't want to not miss this ever. It's just the best.
Yeah.
And it's rare. And not rare sorry. When I say rare, I mean it's special.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's really freaking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got a week away,
Yeah.
and it's big. People want to come.
Yeah.
Mum. Oh. I'm walking here.
So that's there. Is that where the Mamma Mia and stuff come from? Sam and her family.
A little bit. I grew up with wogs, so I love speaking like a wog. I'm the whitest man in Australia, and besides Ethan. And
Take shots at the person without the microphone.
It always works well.
yeah. No. So a part of it's that. A part of it is I love mafia movies.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
Goodfellas, Donnie Brasco,
Yeah.
Sopranos. I'm all about it. And then yes, I married Sam, who is a genuine Italian-speaking Italian. Her family are genuine, every cliched Italian family, loud. Mamma mia, blah, 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 blah. And so and then I was at MBM, and MBM used to run a conference called Wogs for Christ. MBM was originally stood for Maltese Bible Ministry, but then too many Assyrians came, so they had to change it to multicultural. So I just find it a really funny. It replaces swearing, and you can just I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I can do it with the Italian things helpful.
Yeah, so if people are listening and watching and they weren't a week away, I love that you were dropping in Mamma Mia's and forget about it in your talk. And then it reminded me of The Sopranos. And Brayden and I have watched the supercut of The Sopranos with all the O's.
So I was not in the room. You had made fun of me about tuna.
Yes.
And I was walking out, I gave a thumbs up. And then I heard you going, oh. And because I wasn't in the room, I thought you were mocking me.
Oh, sorry.
No. And I was like, oh, wow. He's really put up with me. I was like, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
And I think it was Stu or whatever was like, oh, no, he loves doing it.
You just gave him the excuse to do it.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I always love. Week away, I've been responsible for 4 or 5 times of just the thing that people say. When we had there was the couple who had an anniversary on week away, and so someone set them up at dinner. Just a candlelit dinner in the middle of the room while everyone else is anywhere. But they played Kissed by a Rose by Seal. And so the rest of the week away, we were singing it that night, and then everyone's just like, baby! That's just the whole week is what I was saying. So this I tried to make this.
What a legacy.
The legacy of that year.
What a legacy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But they're just the fun things you get. How good is just hanging out with Christian brothers and sisters? And
this is the thing when you're not from a Christian family or when you're
Yeah.
converted later.
Yeah.
And people don't love church. You're like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
I went to the RSL yesterday. Nara Diggers, shout out to the worst RSL I've ever been to. And dead set, Oh.
You can probably say that because you're a digger, right?
100%. And you know what discount they give veterans?
No.
Nothing.
Oh, ridiculous.
Ever.
Yeah.
The RSL, they steal money from veterans with the poke. Don't get me. They're the
Oh,
worst.
right.
They're the worst. Anyway, no, they're not the worst. Narrow Diggers Club is the worst. It's a horrible establishment. But I went there and they had a poker thing on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is 2 PM
Yeah.
on a Sunday arvo. And it's just full of 60, 70-year-olds who have no community except this poker, gambling.
Yeah.
And I just sat there going, church is so good.
Yeah.
Even if, not even if it wasn't true, it'd be good. That's true. But
Yeah.
the thing that makes it good is that it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. But, oh, man.
Jesus
One
is
of
the
the-
thing you're gathering around rather
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
gambling.
Well,
Yeah.
like both my parents aren't Christian, and one of the best, like most positive is the way I put it, Christian conversations I ever had with my dad was I'd had a shoulder reconstruction, so I was in a sling and I couldn't go to youth group because I had just had surgery that week, and I was sitting on the lounge with my dad on a Friday night for the first time since I was 13. Watching the footy, and I was just like, is this what you do every Friday? I was like, I want to be running around with teenagers, like having the best time. I'm just like, is this really it?
Dad,
and
your
that was one of the
sucks.
best.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah,
Totally.
Yeah,
boring.
it's one of the best. It's like I'm bored already. And it's not the game. It's just like there's just something really. I'm saying it like it's a surprise. There's something really special
There is, man.
about hanging out around Jesus.
Forget
isn't
about it.
there?
Let me
Yeah.
tell you. When my boys in year 7,
Yeah.
youth group, he's like, Dad, you can leave. I'm like,
Can I hang around?
it's so fun.
Yeah.
And so here's a good example. My kids, and I just say this to brag because it's not about me at all. And there's a year 5 and 6 thing called churn on. That's like 4 till 6, no, 5 till 7 p.m. And then 7 p.m. youth group.
Yep.
Both of them have had their birthday parties at youth and at churn.
Yeah.
So they do the party. All the kids come to our house afterwards, kick the footy, and then we get the cards and we take 10, 12 non-Christian kids to youth or to churn. And we didn't tell them to do that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we just want to bring him.
That's all we
We
do.
want to bring him.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, 3 kids are coming all the time, but you go like, that's... Can you imagine adults doing that?
Yeah.
Like, hey, come to my 50th at church. That'd be great. But, and there's a thing that you couldn't work with that. But I reckon, there's just something beautiful about a youth group or whatever where kids are loving it. And they're loving it not just because of the games, but the games help, but
Yeah.
because of the message. And
Yeah.
they're not ashamed of the message. It's not embarrassment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I think we'd be remiss to just discuss your current role, which is for E&C.
Sure.
And you obviously go around encouraging people to evangelize.
Uh-huh.
How did you end up getting into that role? And then what's the kind of the best and worst parts about it?
Sure. The way I got into it was I've been an evangelism minister, mission pastor at churches for 12 years. And then I came to Moore College to do a sermon, an evangelistic sermon example at chapel. And as part of that, I had to listen to 4 sermons of 4th years. And it was so bad. I mean, I'm not kidding, man. It was bad. It was theologically putrid. No, I'm kidding. But it just was like, they were evangelistic sermons. There was 20 ministers there listening. But I was just like, man. Now, E&C used to be called the Department of Evangelism. John Chapman is the most famous sort of guy who's worked there. But it's a complete vacuum of you can do whatever you want, whoever's in my role. And the chairman, the director of it had asked me to come several years prior. And I was like, no way. What? I want to work at church. But I came, and on that day, I was like, oh, man, these are the mission pastors. And in fact, a bunch of those guys I ended up coaching, and they're great guys, and they're mission pastors at churches. And, this is the assumed sort of collective knowledge. It really benefits to have someone with a huge drum beat, a huge drum and a huge drum set going, evangelism, and hustling, but also with experience. And I think in God's kindness, I've just been uniquely experienced through the church in Belfast, Sydney, Central Coast, big, small, white, black churches, and seeing people become Christians. And I've been able to do that by identifying patterns and stealing them and copying them. You know what I mean? Look at this. Stealing them and copying
Is it
them.
the boys on the U?
Yeah,
That's
amazing. This is stop it. God, that's too good. I don't have an original idea in my body when it comes to this sort of stuff, but I was desperate. So I just copied what people did and applied it. And so after that day at Moore College, they asked again, and Sam and I thought and prayed about it for ages, and we went for it. It's a really epic job. I love it. It's a really great job. I never thought I'd like it. I really like it.
Wow.
I miss working in church heaps. It's working in church is harder, and it's working in church is way more emotional and way more emotionally taxing because you're pastoring people all the time. I don't have that. I grieve that, and I miss preaching in the same church all the time. That's a loss. But the benefits are great. Meeting people, I'd never come to something like this otherwise. Like I get to meet Christians. I get encouraged all the time because I get to see people become Christians. The other thing it's given me the opportunity to do is freedom to strategize to win Sydney for Christ and see Australia won for Jesus. And I want to give that a red hot go and just make things up to do it. And if it doesn't work, shoot it and try something else, And I'm not entrepreneurial, but I love autonomy and I love starting things. And I've learned if I start things and I can hand them over to good people, that works well. If I start things, then walk away, not well. Yeah. So that's been an encouraging part of all of it. So that's the best part. The hardest part is, you know what? The hardest part is travel and stuff away from the kids and the family. That's this is awesome. And if I was one of these a year, the kids would be here, but they've already been on 2 camps this year of other churches. Conferences in Brisbane and whatever. So there's that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's hard, but
that would be hard. I'd struggle with that. Yeah. If that was the case.
But it's it's a small price. I just said the first year I said yes to everything and I was just So I just have to have wisdom about what I say yes to and act like a prima donna. So, sorry. Yeah. Got a 3-year waiting list.
Have a couple of virtual church assistants to sort you out. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But no, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's going to be colder, so we could wrap it up, I'd say. Wrap up the chips, as you like to say. But there's one more question to ask you. We kind of talked about, we touched on different parts of your life. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger Christian self that you know now?
My younger Christian self, so I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want this to be good. I want it to.
It usually gives us a title for the podcast. That's why we ask it.
Yeah. I think. This is unique to me and just the way that I'm wired, but it's. And it's going to sound really weird, but it's be kind to yourself. My proclivity, my natural instinct is to loathe myself and just to like I'm a, why, and part of me enjoys the challenge of that. And
like it drives you.
Yeah. But it's not true. We just all respond differently to different things, and some people who think very highly of themselves probably don't need to be less kind to yourself. But I think there's a sense for me of going, hey, it's perfect love that drives that fear, and the pathway forward of the Christian is repentance and faith, but also to grow in love and delight and joy, not in, as you become more and more aware of more and more sin, which is what happens, the pattern of therefore hating yourself more and more as you realize how utterly wretched you are. It's really horrible. No, it's not right. And it's the words of Revelation, to be captured by your first love, who is the love of Christ, just over and over again, to remind yourself that you're loved, that you're cared for, that you're, not that I'm a good man, but I'm loved, man. And yeah, the beating myself up about things, it very rarely helps me conquer sin or anything like that, It actually makes me probably sin more. So yeah. Please don't use that as a title. Be kind to yourself. That's terrible. Here's one. John 21. Peter, do you love me? Feed my sheep. Do you love me? Do you love me? And I think that as Jesus restores Peter, that the core of the Christian life is the love of God, and that it has to. We need to care for the lost with the love that Christ has for us. We need to, it's not functional, it's not pragmatic, it's not numerical, it's relationally, it's love. And that's the heroine of the center of it. I'm now trying to think of a title. I don't know. Heroin love. I don't know what to call it.
I need to think of a
my
title.
second reference of heroin. I'll leave.
Let that one go through.
High
the
on
people.
God.
Yeah.
Mamma mia.
I need a
why.
punch of salt. A pinch of salt. A punch of salt.
A punch of
Donnie
salt.
Brasco, anyone, please check it out.
I think that's a line you had it back in a pub in Townsville or something.
You don't
You
punch of
want a
salt.
punch of salt, mate?
Punch
Yeah.
of salt.
Brayden, as we wrap up the chips, any final words?
Oh, it's just been lovely to. I always say to Joel, it's nice chatting to people on Chip Lunch that we know really well, but it's also nice chatting to someone that I have never chatted to before and getting to know you. And I don't know, it's kind of a weird way of getting to know someone, but it is lovely to do. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. I've been on 1 million podcasts. This is the longest podcast I've been on.
Oh.
Hey.
And I got to talk about myself the whole time. It's very enjoyable.
That's what we say when people are worried about coming on. It's like, it's the topic you're the expert in.
You're the expert.
Yeah.
You're a lover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I love your church. It's a great church.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you
Great
for
to
coming
be
on the podcast. Thank you for preaching at Week Away this year. It's been unreal. I'm learning heaps, and I really appreciate your style, as I said, and also just the way that you're preaching the word faithfully. Like, it's really important. And like one of the lines we have at church is that Jesus changes everything, and I think you're a perfect example of that personally, but also in the way that you're preaching afterwards as well. You're showing that other people can definitely have the same experience, and your passion for evangelism too. So that's been awesome.
Thanks, brothers.
The way that we finish the podcast is everyone gets a badge.
Oh, fantastic.
So I'll give you these 2 badges. Usually we get them to choose one, but as a special guest, you get one of each. So that's for you.
Oh.
Oh,
Thank
very
you.
nice.
Oh, well, I give them the sand. That's wonderful.
Yeah, you definitely can. Because
Yeah.
I've been hassling her for a while to come on the podcast, but we haven't managed to make that work. But yeah, thanks heaps, Dave. And thanks everyone listening and watching. We really appreciate it. And we always finish with a one way. So we'll do that. One way.